The Phyrexians, led by Sheoldred, may have retreated from Dominaria, but they did claim their victory. They destroyed the Sylex, the only weapon of concern known to them. They completed another planeswalker in Ajani Goldmane, and they captured their former father of machines, Karn, bringing him back to New Phyrexia. They had won, but without hope, the multiverse would fall, and the Gatewatch are always hopeful. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Aether Hub. I'm Simon, bringing you more Magic the Gathering lore. Today we embark on a new chapter in the Brothers' War, and with time travel being involved, well, new is a relative term. The way the Brothers' War story is structured, we have articles written on events in the past, which comprise the main story. Then we have side stories set on modern-day Dominaria concerning the Planeswalkers of the Gatewatch following the conflict during Dominaria United. Today we get our first glimpse at our heroes after the climactic battle of the Mana Rig. When we last saw these characters, they were reeling from the abduction of Karn into enemy hands, as well as the death of their friend, the Planeswalker Jaya Ballard. You can catch that full story to get caught up by checking out my complete Dominaria United breakdown, linked on your screen right now or in the description below. But in short, the heroes of Dominaria had failed and are now desperate for any solution. They're willing to push even past the lawful bounds of nature in order to stop the Phyrexians. This modern Brothers' War story is just the start of that journey. Remember, if you're enjoying these videos, consider supporting our content by becoming a member just like these fine folk here. We cannot thank you members of the Vorthos army enough, as you really allow us to continue to make these videos. You can also show your support by leaving this video a like, becoming a subscriber, or by just sharing this video with friends. Now, let's get back to the lore with the Modern Brothers' War Chapter 1, The Stronghold, written by Reinhardt Suarez. A few weeks had passed since the Mana Rig was attacked, Karn taken by the Phyrexians, Ajani revealed to be a sleeper agent, and the Sylex destroyed. The Gatewatch had moved their base of operation to Urza's Tower, where a century ago, Teferi's mentor had engineered constructs to fight in the war against his brother Mishra. They had been trying to chase down more Planeswalker allies, but besides the brilliant artificer, Saheeli Ray, they were only able to convince but a few. Kaya the Ghost Assassin, the Dryad Wren bound to a treefolk she called Seven, and the shamanistic archer Vivian Reed. Elspeth Terrell, a warrior who had fought the Phyrexians her entire life, arrived offering her aid. She was hit the hardest when they told her of Ajani's fate. Teferi remembered how fondly Ajani spoke of her in the past, but he had no way of knowing if Ajani was himself when he spoke those words, or if his words could be trusted at all. One person he could trust was Joda, the Archmage Eternal, who he had asked to act as the leader while he was away. He would soon need to leave in Saheeli's temporal anchor to travel through time and figure out how to activate the Sylex. Joda agreed, surprised to be asked rather than ordered, like a younger, heedless Teferi would have done. The Gatewatch had a plan to assault the leadership of New Phyrexia itself. Forces from Kaldheim, Ixalan, Zendikar, and Kaladesh would join the Mirran resistance on New Phyrexia, led by the Planeswalker and Geomancer, Koth, to mobilize an attack. Elspeth voiced the impossible odds that the rest of the Gatewatch understood, but she had not yet come to accept. Joda, already beginning to act as a leader, offered to talk to her. She just needed time, though Teferi knew that was a luxury they had precious little of. Kaya had intelligence from a Phyrexian insider, Urabrask, the red-aligned praetor whose aspirations opposed white-aligned Elish Norn's vision to make the multiverse unified under her rule. Urabrask was planning a revolution alongside the Mirrans, and the allies of the Gatewatch would soon join them. This was not soon enough for Kaya though, who had been working to uncover why she had found a Phyrexian monster back on Kaldheim. On that plane, there existed a world tree that allowed travel between its separate realms. She suspected that the Phyrexians somehow used the world tree so that each plane in the multiverse could be joined together. That would, in theory, allow Phyrexia's forces to march straight into any plane they wished to conquer. The Planeswalkers agreed that the timing of Urabrask's alliance was too convenient, and suspected the enemy of their enemy might, in fact, be worse. Though she shared her fellow planeswalker's suspicions, Vivian saw no other choice but to trust him. She vouched for the Praetor and his ally, Tezzeret, who had arranged for them to meet the following day. None of the planeswalkers trusted Tezzeret either, who had once served the diabolical Nicol Bolas, committing atrocities across Ravnica that brought many of them together to fight alongside the Gatewatch, in an event that would become known as the War of the Spark. He still had possession of the Planar Bridge, an artifact that allowed interplanar travel of non-organic material, and everyone was well aware that they could possibly be walking straight into a Phyrexian trap. Saheeli had been working on creating an exact replica of the Sylex, using notes etched out by both Karn and Urza on this artifact. And when Teferi came to check on her progress, he judged it nearly perfect. Then she showed him her most important project, her temporal anchor, a time machine that amplified Teferi's power and that he intended to use to unearth the secrets of the Sylex activation. It would require the power stones of the skyship Weatherlight, once a symbol of strength for Dominaria, now twisted into a Phyrexian abomination. He knew he had expected his friend to succeed at a nearly impossible task, to make this machine powerful enough while still keeping its occupant safe. That occupant, of course, would be him. Later that night, the machine would be finished and Teferi would need to risk everything to save the multiverse. Before he could leave Saheeli to her work, she presented him with a wind-up bird as a gift, her delicate craftsmanship unmatched by even Urza. It was built to mimic the birds that perched on the bridges that crossed the canals of her home. They represented the cooperation of the nobles there and their unity and purpose. Chance has granted us gifts, Saheeli told him. How we use our gifts will ultimately define us. I choose beauty. That is how I would like to be known. While Teferi awaited his fate, he spoke with Ren, who had been reluctant to join his cause at first. Though she was pricklier than the other planeswalkers, Teferi trusted her to see through his foolish affections. I can't help but think that this path has been tread before, by Urza, my teacher. He too assembled heroes, planeswalkers, and mortals to battle Phyrexia. Even so, history remembers him as the monster this plane needed to defeat the monsters who threatened it. Ren questioned if Urza really was a monster. Teferi ruminated on her question. When Urza asked him to be his champion, he agreed, so long as his master would help him first. The two of them closed the Phyrexian portal that hung above Teferi's home, Zhalfir, and when they had accomplished their task, Teferi didn't uphold his side of the bargain. He thought he had a more noble cause than Urza, who was merely trying to defeat his enemies. Teferi, on the other hand, was trying to save his people. Though, without Zhalfir's consent, he used the energy from the closed portal to tuck the city away in time and space, where it was lost. So then, who truly was the monster? Ren contemplated his confession for a while and then told him that ultimately neither of them were important. They were merely singular melodies that needed to play their part in this symphony. Ren and Seven marched away as Elspeth approached in full armor. After speaking with Joda, she came to apologize for mistrusting Teferi. Teferi didn't know what to say, but he told her the truth, that no one knew Ajani had been turned, that at the time of his completion it seemed like even he didn't know. Teferi was unsure of the best way to comfort her. What would a great leader say? Is that what everyone needed him to be? A great leader? Who was he truly? The mage who swore to protect his home no matter the cost? The elitist master of time who thought everyone should follow him without question? Or was he the troublesome student that used cruel humor to push away his peers rather than risk being misunderstood and rejected? He told Elspeth that she was right about the fragility of their plan. For me, the fight against the Phyrexians isn't just about being victorious, he said. Teferi didn't know where he was going with this. He had always prepared, even his jokes were planned, but now the words flowed out of him. He spoke of his daughter, Nyambi, the reason for everything he did. It was about saving her, the people around her, while still remaining the person that she loves. Then you do know the terror that comes with hope, Elspeth replied. She agreed to join their cause and unsheathed Luxior, her halo-infused sword. Out of the globe-shaped pommel came tendrils of light that enveloped Teferi, transporting him to a memory long neglected. A vivid memory is brought to the forefront of Teferi's mind. His father told him that when he was a child, Teferi had saved an injured, wattle-eyed bird and cared for it until it was strong enough to leave. Years later, the descendants of that bird would return to visit out of loyalty and out of love. Teferi would grow to become a wizard of repute, a legendary planeswalker known to those in other continents, even on other planes. Still, through his grand magical feats and bitter battles, he'd recall the Song of the Birds. He had dismissed his father's tale as whimsy and nothing more, but this time, he chose to believe it. And there you guys go, our first glimpse at our modern day heroes as they prepare their ultimate plan to attack New Phyrexia and avenge their lost friends. This, you guys, was a fantastic story, and I gotta say, this synopsis only provides the tip of the character development in this lore iceberg. So I really suggest that you guys go back and read the full article yourselves, which you can find linked in the description below. We see planeswalkers here interacting for the very first time. The crushing sense of loss Elspeth feels for Ajani. The regret Teferi's shoulders as he believes he's following a similar path to Urza. Some of the most recent stories of the New Phyrexian arc, the fact that we're seeing characters like Kaya and especially Ren show up again, is just really amazing. Of course, Ren and her treefolk befriended Teferi in a one-off story in our return to Innistrad, so if you missed that connection, there's a little refresher. Anyway, it looks like the group is planning an all-out multiplanar assault on New Phyrexia, joining enemies of enemies, planeswalkers, legendary heroes, and even traveling back in time in order to accomplish the seemingly impossible: wipe clean the threat of the Phyrexians from the multiverse once and for all. I want to thank you all so much for joining me and watching this video today, and a special thank you to those who have supported this channel by becoming members. It really is the best way to help our channel, but it's not the only way. You can show your support by leaving this video a like, becoming a subscriber, or by even just sharing it with friends. It all goes a long way in helping grow our little community here. As always, guys, thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, see ya!